Hello everyone, today in this video we'll be discussing the fourth module of SE which is related to the project management. So here as you can see there are totally 9 topics present and we will be discussing each topic one by one and seeing from the exam point of view what is important. And please do like and subscribe, that helps me make more videos like this. And if you watch this video till the end, easily you can score more than 80% marks. So without wasting any more time, let's get started. The first one is software project management and its activities. Okay, so let's have a look at the basic definition of the project management and what are the activities present inside that. So what is a project basically? Project is a planned activity carried out within a time period to achieve an end goal. Okay, so that can be like creating an application. That's what most of the projects in today's time are. The project of making application that involves the scheduled time period and the tasks needed to achieve that. Okay, so that is called as a project. Now what is project management? Project management means the whole task of creating a project that will be managed accordingly, whether it is within the time, whether it is exceeding the costs of making that project, or the features which were planned initially, are they implemented there or not. All those things are managed. Why it is important to manage? Because to reduce the cost. If we do not manage any project, at that time we will encounter the things which we have not planned for, right? So then we will have to spend more money for rectifying it, right? So that will cost more money. So project management is to avoid all those extra costs later on. Software project is different from other types of project. Okay, specifically software project is different. Why it is different? There are four factors. The software project is invisible. What do you mean by invisible? Compare it with a project of constructing a bridge. Constructing a bridge is visible, how much bridge is made and how much is remaining. Software projects are not visible. We are creating the software projects, writing the code, and all those things are interconnected, and executing is also happening, but we are not sure whether that whole thing will work or not, whether what factors need to be implemented until we reach the end and it is working, right? So that is one thing, invisible. It is complex because the factors which are involved, we sometimes are not sure of what all to include. It is varying. Varying means constructing a bridge conforms to the laws of physics. The gravity is present, the material, what how much it is strong, and how many people are required to build it. All those things we already know because of experience and the physical laws. But the software projects are not as such. They do not conform to the physical laws but to the humans emotions, because the number of people required will be depending on the productivity level of each people that day, right? Each person that day. So the team which is going to be formed and the requirements which are going to come from the client, that is also from a human only. So all those things are dependent on the varying levels of humans emotions and needs. So it is a different kind of project. Software project, it is flexible to changes, because software project, we I'll give you an example. Suppose that we create a house for image in our by using a pen and paper. If we create it using a pen and a paper, it will not be erasable, right? So that is a made thing, the changes cannot be entertained there. But if we make it using a digital art, at that time we can easily erase it and make it accordingly. That flexibility is there. So whatever is in software, that is flexible to changes, right? Whatever we make it as in a real world, that will not be flexible to changes as easily as it's in the software. These are the four things why software project is different from other type of projects. The following are the activities covered by software projects. First is the requirement analysis, to make the project, what all the things are required, the technical things, the team members, what are the skills required, how much time is required, all those requirements are taken. Then the design is made, architecture design, the brief overview, the blueprint of what all the things are to be kept inside the project, and for that what all the things are required, and the details are kept inside the detailed design phase. Then we do the code and the testing. The coding is the actual implementation of the project. We generate the code so that the project runs, and the testing will happen, what all the things can be there, which due to which the project can uh, behave as it's not expected to. The integration testing is done. That means After developing each and individual features and they have tested successfully, we'll integrate all of them and together we will test the whole project whether something is failing or not. Qualification testing, whether that is meeting the business requirement from the client, that project is delivering what is expected by that project or not. Installation, helping the customers to install that project into their systems and helping them to use it. And if any error happens or some support is required by the customer, we will provide acceptance support. These are the phases or the activities covered by the software projects. Next is the plan, method, and methodologies. What are the differences between them? Method is the way of doing a task. For example, tester analyzes the requirements, generate test cases, compare the reports, and raises the bugs. So it is the task of the tester to analyze the requirements. Suppose that one feature is there. What are the requirements of the feature? Understand that first. Generate test cases to test that. What all things to be done? How the things can be going wrong? All those things. Compare the reports with the actual result and the expected result, how it should be. If there is any discrepancy, raise the bug. That is called as a method. Plan is when and what will be done. That thing is called as a plan. Methodology is a group of methods together. Okay, moving on, we have categorizing software projects. What do you mean by categorizing software projects? There are different kind of software projects and they can be categorized based on four main things. First is compulsory versus voluntary users. Okay, this example I can give you of office and a home. Okay, in office the laptops are present and the laptops are used every day for a specific amount of time, like 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. That is compulsory. Compulsory users will be using them. And voluntary uses is the home laptop. We use it based on our need. Sometimes it can go more, sometimes it can go less, but it is voluntary, right? That two different kinds of scenarios are present here. So based on that, the software projects are also designed whether it is for the home or it is to be meeting the consistent requirement in the office. That is compulsory versus voluntary users. Information system versus embedded system. Information system will provide some information, like for example the stock data in the excel sheets. The stock data, it is providing the information, that is the information system. Embedded system is the one which is having for example it is controlling a machine, like the control of air conditioner, when it should turn on, how much degree it should be there, and for what time it should be present, when it should turn off, and in what circumstances it should turn off or turn on. All those things are controlled. That is called as embedded system. Third one is the outsourced project. In this, what happens, suppose that one company is building a furniture. Okay, the furniture, we can take it as a table. Okay, for the table, as you know, we require the four legs of the table and one wooden flat sheet, and we require the screws to fix them, right? So all those things are required for creating one object. Now, like that, I'm giving an example. For software there will be other requirements. Okay, so the company is mainly dealing into the woods and it does not have the steels for making the nuts, right? So in that case, the company, what it will do, it will outsource the nuts manufacturing from the other company which deals with steel and nuts, right? So that within cost effective, it can get the nuts and it can integrate it within their own project. That will reduce the cost and the time as well, rather than they dealing with woods, going and again collecting steel from outside and then using that steel to make the nuts and fit it into their project. That will require more cost, right? So that decision needs to be made, what kind of project it is and whether what parts of the project can be outsourced, that will be more beneficial. Okay, object driven development. Always the development will be done based on what is the end objective, what you are trying to achieve. That will be kept in mind, and that kind of software projects will be there which will be having just objective in the mind, and to achieve that, what all is required, that will be planned accordingly. Okay. Moving on, we have the next topic, which is stakeholders and objectives. Okay, what do you mean by stakeholders and objectives? These are the people who have stake or interest in the project, like the ones who have invested money into that project, or the ones whom the project is made for, i.e., the clients. Okay, those are the stakeholders. They have the interest or they have invested the amount of money, they have paid for it. So they are the ones who are the stakeholders. Okay, stakeholders can be categorized as internal to the project team, external to the project team, external to the project team as well as the organization. Okay, so internal to the project team will be the closest one. They will be having all the information and they will be working closely communicating with the team members. External to the project team will not be communicating with the team members, but since they are in the same organization, they will be communicating with the manager, the internal manager. External to the project team and organization, these ones the stakeholders will be not communicating with the projects manager. They will be communicating with the company's manager and all the projects manager. That external company will be dealing with them. Okay, so these are the three categories of stakeholders present. Objectives are set to what the team must achieve for the project's success. Those are called as objective. Okay, this thing, if the team does, the project will be successful, like that. Objectives are further subdivided into goals and sub objectives. For example, keeping the cost minimum can be a goal. Like that, many other goals will be defined and many other sub objectives will also be defined. So if all of these fulfill, at that time it can be taken as the project is completed. The mnemonic SMART can be used to define objective. What is SMART? Specific. The requirement should be very specific. What is required, there should be no ambiguity or doubt in that. And the measurable, the whatever the project is being made, it should be measurable, and we should check if it is achievable within the time period and the technology which we have. Is it relevant, and how much time we have for making that project. It is time constrained. So based on these factors, we will be defining the objectives to achieve the project. And any business case must be considered keeping the following in mind. So business case means what is the real life requirement. For example, making a e-commerce website, the real life business case is to sell the products digitally. So the development cost, okay, listen carefully, the development cost, how much cost we are going to pay for developing the project, must not be increased to a level, that cost which we are going to make project, that should not exceed the value of benefits which you are going to get from that. For example, if I spend $100,000 for creating a website and I'm only getting $20,000 uh, by using that website for generate selling the products. Okay, so in this case the development cost was more and this was less. Okay, over time this will be more, but I'm giving an example. Sometimes over time also this will not be more. In that case, it the development cost has exceeded the value of benefits which you are getting. That should be avoided. The features are not reduced to a level where the benefits cannot be realized. Means the features are so low that benefits are not possible. Only if it is a very cheap website where only $20 was spent given to a developer to develop that website, and it is not having any features which can be used, no one will purchase from that website and there will be a total loss. So the feature should not be reduced to a level where the benefits cannot be realized or the benefits will not get. Delivery date is not delayed such that it leads to unacceptable loss of benefits. If the delivery has to be happened at a particular date, if it is exceeded from that date and the time period has crossed such that the requirement is no more present, at that time it is of no use. So these three things must be avoided in any business case which is used for developing a project. Next is project success and failure. What do you think makes the project successful or failure? Project success and failure depends on project objectives and business objectives. So what is project objective and what is business objective? A project can be a success on a delivery, but then a business failure, right? So here what happens, a project, if it says that it will deliver within this number of days, and within that days also it delivers, but the features are very low, features are very poor, the delivery was happened, the project's objective was achieved, but business objective is not achieved because that is a very bad website, no one will be coming to that website, so there is a business failure here. On the other hand, project delivery could be late on and over budget, but its deliverables could be still over time generate benefits and that outweigh the initial expenditures. So even if you spend a little more time, make the project more better, and even though it is over budget and it was delayed, but still over time that will be used and the people will be starting to use it, and it will generate more profit, right, than loss over time. So these things should be considered whether that will happen or not happen. That research and analysis needs to be done. That is the factor based on which a project can become successful or failure. Okay, next is management. What do you mean by management? As I told you, the management means doing something and keeping a track of it whether it is happening properly or not. Okay, so it involves 8 things. First is planning. Okay, planning what is to be done, organizing the all the requirements whatever is there, organize it into a proper way and a proper sequence, staffing, gathering the team members, directing, telling them what to do, monitoring, seeing if they are doing it or not, controlling if they are not doing it, action needs to be taken, innovating, think of what ways it can be made more better, representing, and finally delivering the project to the client. Okay, it involves mainly three phases. First is project planning, and then project monitoring and control, project plan revision based on the monitoring and control if it is having some discrepancy or if it is running out of time. If you follow the same method, the plan has to be revised, so that will happen here. After that is done, we'll be closing the project. Okay, at management level, data needs to be processed for useful information. Okay, what do you mean by this? For example, the if you are a manager and someone comes and tells you location X has processed 2000 documents. Okay, this information is not useful for you. Why it is not useful? It is of no use because the information such as percentage of records processed and average documents processed per person per day is more useful for you. This is not giving you any idea of how much the project is completed and how fast we are moving. Project managers have need to have that information and how many days it will take to complete it. Giving this information is useful for the technical developers, but for the management, this has to be processed in the form of percentage or the number of days or the speed, how much it is. Okay, so that's what at the management level the data needs to be processed. During the last 2 decades, a lot of technological changes have happened and are currently also happening, right? So we all know the technology is always upgrading and we are expecting a lot of changes. Due to these changes, clients are demanding faster results. Every time a new technology will come, we have to integrate it into our project and make it more faster. So the following steps are taken to achieve the same. Planning incremental delivery. So it in the previous cases, what used to happen, requirements used to be present, and based on that requirement project is made and no changes will be entertained here. But now this is not possible because we need to have changes incorporated as the world becomes more advanced. So here planning incremental delivery should be taken. Whenever a new feature comes, that has to be means implemented into the same project and continued. Okay, and quality management, the quality of the project must be maintained, and whenever a change comes, it should be able to take that change and integrate it within the project. Okay, so these steps are followed to achieve the faster results. Okay, so the management handles these things. Evaluation of individual projects. Okay, there are some key concepts here. How do you evaluate individual projects? Okay, so technical assessment. Can the project be completed using the current technologies or not? What technologies are present in the company? Whether that technologies can be used to make the project or not. Cost benefit analysis. How much cost and how much benefit I'm getting for spending on different projects. That analysis is made. The most valuable projects should be getting the most resources because that makes sense, that will give them more benefits, right? So more money needs to be spent there, which gives more value. It comprises of two steps: identifying all the costs and benefit of carrying out the project and operating the delivered application, expressing these costs and benefits in common units. Okay, based on these two steps, you will be able to calculate the cost and benefit. Cash flow is the technique to evaluate what are the expenditures and the incomes, how many things are going out and what are the things coming in, and what are the money perspectives of it. Means how much money is going out and how much money is coming in. That is called as cash flow. Okay, and there are different techniques to understand the cash flow. Let's understand the cash flow techniques as well as the cost benefit evaluation techniques. So based on the cost benefit, we have few terms here. The net profit. What do you mean by net profit? It is the difference between total income and total cost. Means how much money was paid and how much profit we got. That difference is the net profit. Okay. And payback period is the period or the time taken to pay back the initial investment. How much initially investment was there? Like suppose it was 200K. It was the initial investment, and the business ran and it generated some profit, and it generated so much profit that it was able to repay the initial investment. That is that time how much it took is called as payback period. Return on investment, based on investment how much profit you have got, that is how much profit divided by total investment into 100%. Okay, and net present value. Net present value means currently what is the value of something. Okay, That is a project evaluation technique that takes into account profitability of the project and the timing of cash flows that are produced. Okay, so net present value is related to, suppose you have $100 here, you have $100 with you now, and another option you have is getting $100 after a year. Which is better? Better is obviously $100 now. Why? Because $100 if you have now, you'll be able to invest it, and within 1 year amount of time you'll be able to get some more money, right? So that one, the difference. Okay, so net present value will be more in the case of $100 you have now. How fast you have, how much more, that is equated with the more NPV, which is net present value. Okay, the difference in NPV of two projects is sometimes related to what time is the bulk income getting generated, earlier or later. Suppose I have two projects, P1 and P2. Both are generating me $1 million at the end of 10 years. Okay, but project 1 will generate every year $100,000, 100K, 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 till 10 years $1 million. But the project 2, what it will do, it will generate first only 50K, then it will generate 70K, then it will generate 90K, like that it will keep on going, and at the end it will generate 100, 120, like that it is going to generate. So in these two scenarios, what you can observe is at the end more income is there, at the starting low income is there. So this is not useful. Why? Because if it is a steady income, at that case more money can be invested regularly for more amount of time, right? And the profits also will be more. So that calculations will be done by net present value. Okay, next is internal rate of return. IRR attempts to provide a profitability measure as a percentage return that is directly comparable with the interest rates. Okay, so it is directly comparing the profit you have earned with the interest you could have earned if you had put it into a bank, like that. Okay, so that comparison is made. That is called as internal rate of return. Okay, moving on to the last topic, we have risk evaluation. Every project is has a risk, right? Everything in life is risky. So every project has a risk associated with that. We need to evaluate and handle it. So it is handled in the following ways. How is the risk handled? Risk identification and ranking. There are many tasks, right? Many things are there in the project. For example, client is not satisfied with the UI. Okay, that is one thing. Warehouse is not able to handle the items present here, and the deadlines are near, and the project is not yet made. The people who are working on the project, they are not motivated enough, they are not productive enough, they are always delaying the deadlines. These are the different things are present here. Which is the most important one that we have to identify first and rank it? For that, risk matrix is used, where less important or more important will be there. We have to choose which is less and more important, and how much risky it is, whether it is a big loss or a small loss. Based on this matrix, you'll be able to identify the risks. After you have identified the risk, you'll also see what is the risk and the net present value for that thing, how much cost it is taking, what is the NPV for that. Based on that, we'll get an estimate financially how much we will be able to handle the risk. Cost benefit analysis, on which risk which we invest will getting more benefit, that will analyze. Last is the risk profile analysis. For this, there are different factors, as I told you, which can be compromised and which cannot be compromised. Like I can make this a little less and I can keep this a little bit more, then it will be more beneficial. Like that will be varying each one, how much can be compromised in what. Okay, so based on that, also risk is analyzed, and based on that the actions are taken so that the risk will be minimized in the future. Okay, and also using decision trees will be depicting the whole thing diagrammatically. Okay, so that's all. If you found this video helpful, please do like and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.